the greatest price that of independence that we paid was the death of Gandhi.
So yeah, I did Spider-Man 4, guys.
निखिल सर ने मुझे देखते कहा कि गांधी तो तू करेगा बाद में, पर सबसे पहले वजन कम करना है, तो 16 किलो वजन कम किया है.
Okay. You know who he really was, how he really thought, why he was the one who made those choices. You know, inside of me, I felt like Spider-Man, to be honest, playing him.
Yeah, I mean, I can't take the credit for Rocket Boys because actually that belongs completely to Abhay for his passion for detail, his doggedness, his writing. Writing was sublime. It's sublime.
So I've seen the trailers, all the drops. I've not been able to see the episode, but from what?
We sent you the episode.
Yeah, yesterday.
Nobody else sent.
Thank you so much. Yes, thank you so much. And it looks promising because the sets are wide. I mean, all of them don't exactly look like the history figures, but at the same time, their mannerisms are so much like them, and we can So it's not क्या बोलते हैं copy नहीं कर रहे पर अच्छे से portray कर रहे हैं.
Yeah, I think that we need to now. We need to grow up from the fact that I mean. Then I have to use AI.
No. So I mean, I'm appreciating this because it's not caricaturous.
Yeah.
It is a good performance.
I think I went by the scene that in the early 80s, John F. Kennedy was played by. There was a show called Kennedy where Martin Sheen played John F. Kennedy. Yeah. He got the mannerisms correct. He got the voice correct. He got all that correct. But it was Martin Sheen.
Yeah. So Nikhil, of course, you are making commercial films, but with the way you are working on historical drama, I mean, it's impressive with the, not change, but the addition to your filmography. How did you think, because Rocket Boys was also fantastic, so how did that?
I can't take the credit for Rocket Boys because actually that belongs completely to Abhay for his passion for detail, his doggedness, his writing. Writing was sublime. Yeah. It's sublime. I mean, you guys saw... the show. I used to during lockdown. He would send it to me. I would read it, and it was like my day was made. It was just beautiful, So there, the role as producer was very important. I wanted to support him and give him as a debut director everything that people gave me as a debut director. So as far as Freedom at Midnight is concerned, I think that everybody thinks that हमने टाइपराइटर खरीद लिया और ये खरीद लिया, पीरियड का गाड़ी भी होगा, उनके पास कॉस्ट्यूम भी होगा, तो उनको दे दो. बट so I'm just being facetious. I think that Freedom at Midnight is a very one of my favorite books. No matter what, I can go back to it after 10 years and I'll still enjoy it. It's still a page turner. Is it the best book on the history of India's independence? I don't think so. Right? But it's an engrossing, incredible book, right? It's written almost like a screenplay. So when you're reading it, why did nobody made this? बनाया क्यों नहीं किसी ने? बनाना चाहिए यार. क्या कमाल के characters है, conflict है, dilemma है, scale है, scale of emotion है, scale of visual scale है. So really, if you just take it and you give it to a bunch of talented writers and let them fly with it, that's what you get. And that's how it comes. So my filmography is you have to tear me away. If somebody else was making Freedom at Midnight, I would be very upset. So I love it. It's something that I've always wanted to do. Yeah.
So tell me, getting into a powerful character like that, how was it for you?
I mean, it's my life's greatest honor, to be honest. When it came to me, my knowledge of him and the history and this most important sort of brutal chapter of the history has been so limited. It was enlightening. B, it just evoked my curiosity to an extent where I had to just know more and more. And specifically, when you choose when something like this comes along and it's a real life character, as an actor, you want to reach as close to him as possible in terms of his physicality, emotions, mentality, his thinking, his decisions, his choices, and all of that. So thankfully, I think when the script came along, I read the script and I read all the books that are available that I could to understand his thinking. Thankfully, he had written some books, so that really helped. It all aligned in terms of why he made those choices. You know, who he really was, how he really thought, why he was the one who made those choices. You know, inside of me, I felt like Spider-Man, to be honest, playing him. You know, very few people in the world can just hold on to the past, present, and future. And he was one of those who was literally, you know, it's like holding it together, dealing with the past, as in holding on to the past, healing the present, at the same time foreseeing future. It's superhero quality. And so yeah, I did Spider-Man 4, guys.
Nehru.
Nehru is Spider-Man.
is Spider-Man.
He is actually.
That's your clickbait, man.
I mean, he is.
That's it. You got it.
Got it. All right, done, guys. Can I go to
Siddharth said
lunch?
Nehru Spider-Man. Done.
Okay.
Siddhant, you know, coming from Jubilee,
Yes.
and I mean, it's kind of a turning point in your career, would you say?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, how does that help? Because it was also somewhere history and all of that.
Sure.
What do you take from that journey, bringing to Freedom at Midnight?
You know, your
It's
first.
funny because that character
Yeah.
is a consequence of this character.
Yeah.
Right?
He was facing the consequence
that
which
character is
this guy
facing
was
the
handling.
consequences of what this character
Was
actually
handling. Yeah.
was
Sure.
involved in, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
it's quite
Yeah. So
funny.
I got a little glimpse of what was happening in Jubilee. Yeah. But you know, anyways, leaving that aside, the first conversation that you and Nikkhil sir were having about, I was just thinking to myself, this is actually where the world is. You know, the reality in the performance. It's no more कि ये character ऐसा होना चाहिए. देखो नेहरू ऐसे बात करेगा या कोई ऐसे बात करेगा. It's a thin line, but it's a big, huge distance.
I hope
to
when you watch the show, I mean, I agree
Yeah.
with what Siddhant. I hope when you watch the show, you will be pleasantly surprised because a lot of people, the log line of the show which Danish Khan came up with is the history you may not know, the history you should know.
Yeah.
And when we see the first drop, also you see the withdrawal of nomination scene. You say, "Oh, I did not know this man."
Yeah.
You know, or you see the third drop where you say where he says ki Jinnah ko prime minister banao. He said, "My God, I did not." I mean, of course, you've seen it, you've heard about it, but was it, you know, in the film Gandhi, it was one line we chose to make it the entire episode. I agree with what Siddharth is saying because I think that what we chose to do collectively is that they don't know everything.
Mhm.
They are reacting to what is happening at that time. The perspective of the show is also from the point of view India is saying ki ye mere saath ho raha hai. So they are reacting to that. He's basically sticking by his ideology. He's sticking by his pragmatism and realism. That on the ground, this is there. We have to do this. We have to move. This guy is getting torn by everything else, right? And I think that what I think you'll be pleasantly surprised with is his humor. When Gandhi enters the room and he says कि लोग कहते हैं कि कांग्रेस मैं तेज चलता हूँ, पर ऐसा लग रहा है कि कांग्रेस मेरे से भी तेज चल रही है. He's being sarcastic about the fact you guys are having a meeting without me.
And he does a laugh also.
Yeah,
sir,
laugh.
in between. He's like,
Yeah.
It's a very cute laugh.
It's Mahatma Gandhi trying to say कि boss आप लोग एक meeting कर रहे हो और मुझे नहीं बुलाया आप लोग, right? Now you see what I'm going to do, right? Boom, right? Here you have Nehru. Basically, you feel that okay, here's the guy who did this and who did this, but he's actually being torn.
Yeah.
He's torn, right? He's walking around as a, what am I supposed to do? I solve this problem, this happens. I solve this problem, this happens. I solve this problem. He's saying, Dekar. He's saying, you can't do this. What am I supposed to do? So those are, it's very, what we should turn, yes, they're iconic figures, right? But let's understand, let's put everybody else into that same Gadda room and let them see what, put them into Jinnah's
first-hand,
study, put them into the Viceroy's study, put them into the riots that are happening in Kolkata, in Punjab and in Noakhali, and put them inside. And let's see what's happening. Let's see how it blows up.
In his journey, I also actually unfolded the reason why he was chosen to lead the country. When I studied him, and even through the script, you know the facts and what he did and what Sardar Patel, what they together did, why he was put on the front line, and how they both of them worked as a team and holding on to his principles, Mahatma Gandhi's principles. It all just aligned. There's no, we think, oh, bana dete. It's just a title. They were running it together. They were running together. They were flying together. They were falling together.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's the equation. That's the emotional quotient that you feel when you see the scenes between Sardar Patel and Jawaharlal Nehru, and together with and the emotional quotient with Gandhi. So it's a feeling end of the day.
Yeah. Rajendra sir, playing Vallabhbhai Patel, I mean, it's a big honor because, for the longest time we've read so much about him, but it's recently, that the figure is being celebrated so much, right?
हाँ,
So how is that feeling for you?
वहां तक तो पहुंचा ही नहीं था मैं क्या बोलूं
बोल दो कुछ.
जी नहीं, ऐसा नहीं
बोल दो यार, पूरे 15 एपिसोड में इतना तो बोल रहे हो आप.
वही होता है कि सरदार प्ले करना बहुत थोड़ा सा उतना मुश्किल नहीं था जितना इसके बारे में फिर से इस तरह से बातें करना मेरे लिए मुश्किल है, क्योंकि मैं ज्यादा बोलता नहीं हूँ.
A man of few words who stays in the background
Yeah.
and allows everybody else.
And the kind of work he's done, the
Man of
huge body
action.
of work.
Incredible.
I'm in fact happy that ऐसे आप promote कर रहे हैं, we are getting to meet you, talk to you, so it's important.
Do you know who was? And I met somebody who saw the drop and who was very close to Moneyban.
Oh wow, okay.
And she told me that you got it wrong because there was one person who voted for Nehru. That was Sardar.
Sardar Patel.
So it was not
beautiful.
unanimous.
Wow.
हाँ.
Wow.
He made me speechless. क्या?
Yeah.
Oof.
It's lovely to see
Lovely
you.
to yes.
Yeah.
मतलब क्या किस लेवल के ये सारे प्रभु लोग हैं, प्रभु, और इस तरीके का किरदार निभाना और इस तरीके का किरदार निभाने का मौका मिलना. थैंक यू.
Yeah. चिराग सर, आप गांधी प्ले कर रहे हैं. I think you've also played Gandhi in theatre, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So,
Oh really? I didn't know that.
he
हाँ,
does.
हाँ.
Yeah.
Oh, कब से रिहर्सल कर रहे हो इस show की?
He's a
Yeah, I'm
veteran.
sure that's the reason why
Kamala.
Kavish called me up and said that, I actually called up Kavish. Anyway,
Yeah.
सर
वाह
ये सारी
यार.
बातें धीरे धीरे खुल रही है.
So, playing Gandhi for so long, and I'm sure the way Gandhi's character is written for different content is different, right? So, then how do you adapt to, say, like, Freedom at Midnight का struggle, जहाँ पर Gandhi is shown in a very different light. So, how do you adjust to that?
मीडियम अलग है,
हम्म.
थिएटर और यानी कैमरा. सो सबसे पहला था कि वजन घटाना है. जब मैं निखिल सर को मिला, निखिल सर ने मुझे देखते कहा कि गांधी तो तू करेगा बाद में, पर सबसे पहले वजन कम करना है. तो 16 किलो वजन कम किया है.
Okay.
या आई वाज 72 एंड जब शूटिंग शुरू हुआ पहला दिन था, आई वाज यानी 56. सो जर्नी रही है. सर ने एक डाइटिशियन अपॉइंट किया था जो कि मुझ पर वॉच रख रहा था एवरी वीक, एवरी डे, सबसे पहले क्या मील मैं खा रहा हूँ. सो आई हैड टू क्लिक फोटोग्राफ टू सेंड हिम, और उसके बाद एवरी वीक जो मेरा ट्रांसफॉर्म हो रहा है बॉडी, तो उसके फोटोग्राफ भेजने हैं. सो ये सारा एक सिलसिला रहा है. तो और अपने आप में यानी मैं कहूँगा कि किसी भी एक्टर को, यानी ये इट्स एन ऑनर एंड थैंक यू सर कि आपने मुझे चूज किया. और कोई भी एक्टर यानी ऐसा कैरेक्टर मिले, निखिल सर के साथ काम करना, फ्रीडम एट मिडनाइट, तो कोई भी एक्टर अपना सब कुछ दे देगा. सो मैंने भी वही किया है. और अब जाके 15 जुलाई और 15 नवंबर
वापस से
it's a
shoot
fine
करवाओगे
line,
मैंने.
right? People
हाँ.
worship the ground that this man used to walk on, right?
Yeah.
I would tell, like, we would sit in the writing room and we would sit in workshops and readings, and Siddhant would have say that, okay, can I say it like this, or what if I turn this line and take this line up and take this line down, or the way Rajendra would perform it, and I would say, okay, no, just they can make it a little more matter of fact. He should not be. Why is he mincing words? He doesn't mince words. He's not like he says it the way it is. With Chirag and with Gandhi, it was when he says everything becomes quiet. Everything becomes when you see the episode, you will see that when he speaks, nobody else has a. They cannot. So for me, I was treating him like Jesus of Nazareth. जब वो बोलेगा, धम सब मतलब सब कुछ होगा. When he does something, so I think that what will surprise, like you said, that what will surprise people is some of the decisions that he has taken and how he see the show is bookended by the first scene where he says कि देश का बंटवारा होने से पहले मेरा शरीर का बंटवारा हो, and it ends with the fact कि शरीर का बंटवारा हो. The greatest price that of independence that we paid was the death of Gandhi. That is what the show is. Here is a man for 15 episodes is only saying one thing, right? Everybody basically said he knew that partition will blow up the country. Everybody else thought that partition is going to solve the violence, right? But he knew it's going to blow up.
Yeah.
Nobody believed. They are small things where he says there's a line. Remember that line you tell him, देश बदल रहा है. What is that?
हाँ, आज की परिस्थिति में सत्य और अहिंसा की कोई जगह नहीं है. देश बदल रहा है, लोग बदल रहे हैं.
Can you imagine?
And today it's already changed now.
Can you imagine? So सरदार पटेल बोल रहा है गांधी को 1947 में कि मतलब it's an incredible this thing, right? I mean, it's the first in the first scene in the first episode. They are already saying कि बापू आप आश्रम में बैठ जाओ, हम लोग देश चलाने वाले. And he proves to them, I ain't going anywhere, boss. I ain't going anywhere. I'm here. मैं अपने लोगों को जानता है, जो सत्ता नहीं कर सकेगी वो लोग करेंगे. That's his thing.
Correct.
So those are the things that we followed.
Yeah.
And Devi's written an incredible dialogues.
Yeah. Nikhil and everybody, this question is for everyone. At a time when a lot of shows come, and we see a lot of history stuff also, but at times it's also changed according to convenience. So, Nikhil, as a maker, how responsible do you feel it is? What kind of responsibility it is to stick to reality, and how do you make sure you do that?
I can't.
Okay.
How do I this thing, like, in the sense that there's a book, and the book basically tells me that these are the events that happened. So we have chosen to basically not say this is right, this is wrong, this should have been done, this should not have been done. It could today in retrospect, when I sit down in 2024, I can turn around and say, "Arey, they should have listened to this person, or this one was right and this one was wrong." I can't do it, right? So you have the today you have the advantage of retrospect. You have the advantage of looking back after 80 years and saying, "Oh my God, they got it. Yeah, they could have changed things around. If they only knew that Jinnah was dying, and in a year and a half later, right? If they knew that the episode 1, scene number 5, you realize that he takes the chest X-ray from his doctor and says that nobody must find out about this. A year and a half later, he had died.
Yeah.
So when I'm talking about this, right? Forget 80 years later, 2.5 years later, if they only knew that Jinnah was dying,
history would have been different.
Something would have been different, right?
Yeah.
So we can sit back today and say कि उसने उन लोगों ने गलती की, उसने ये किया, उसने वो किया. The way I look at it is that these three gentlemen, along with Ambedkar and the people who drafted the constitution, are allowing you to criticize them.
Yeah.
उन्हें बोल रहे, उन्हें बोला, please, वो आपका right है. The right to freedom of expression was granted by these gentlemen. And today we can sit down and say, "Oh, yeah." So I am not here to pass that kind of judgment. I am just trying to say I am detailing and documenting the events that basically led to possibly the most momentous moment in the history of our country.
Yeah, I agree with you.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. With the way things are right now, where anything that has been done wrong was either Nehru or Gandhi, and everything right was Vallabhbhai Patel. So tell me, in a situation like this, how do you see that maybe kuch controversy hoga, nahi hoga, or is it just that you will stick
Do I
to
see?
the
Sorry,
script?
do I see?
controversy hoga nahi hoga, what you are showing, or you just stick to what it is? How do you go about navigating? How do you navigate through the times today to bring out a show like this?
I try to basically make sure that we do as much research as we can. We have a great team of writers, great team of researchers. We get into it, but we also very clearly understand that we cannot make everybody happy. There will, I mean, I made a film called Patiala House in 2000 and I remember 10 or whatever, and people still felt that, oh my god, thoda ye controversy hai, thoda wo aisa nahi hona chahiye tha, waisa nahi hona chahiye, etc, etc. I made a film called D-Day and I had security for 3 years. Right?
So you have a habit of touching those
poking the bear.
Huh? Do you enjoy it? I mean, what is it?
No, I mean, I think my wife will watch this interview, and so I have to be very careful about what I say at this point, because because when I told her that I showed her the first poster of D-Day, and she was in Boston, I remember, and I showed her the poster of D-Day. She looked and said, "Do you want us to get killed? What is wrong with you? Why do you do this? Why?" And I said, "But this is what we have to do, and this is how we have to keep, So yeah, so I don't. I'm not. I don't think. I'll tell you where I stand. Right, I stand from the point of view that incredible men took incredible decisions at an incredible time. Right, it gave us independence. It threw the British out after 200 years, and it also unfortunately resulted in possibly a horrific partition. Right? But I look at from the point of view that there's a book that William H. Shirer wrote called The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich, where it starts with those who forget history are condemned to repeat it. तो मुझे नहीं करना, मुझे रिमाइंड करना. मैं अपनी 18 साल की बेटी के लिए बना रहा हूँ, मैं दानिश सर के 8 साल के बेटे के लिए बना रहा हूँ. The rubbish that people are seeing on social media today.
Social media, WhatsApp, every time. I mean,
everything, right? So I am just saying if somewhere or the other, I think when we made Rocket Boys, what was extremely gratifying for every single person. I know people at Sony Live and people at us, people at RKF, gratifying for us was mothers coming to us and say, my children are interested in science again. I want people to say, my children are interested in history.
Yeah, I kept thinking to myself कि सबको actor बनना है, politician किसी को बनना ही नहीं है. I mean, it's like right now if you look at it. Right. And when I was actually reading this script, I realized, and I want to actually confess this, that I really felt like a victim of agreeing to disagree. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like everyone else. I agreed to all of them growing up because of my lack of knowledge about these men and our past. I agreed to everything that was floating in the air about someone else without having my own opinion. So I felt like a victim. I was like, I agreed to actually disagree. Why?
But agreeing to disagree is the best thing.
But you must agree. It's the most convenient thing. But that's the thing.
It is the best thing. It is the power that has been handed over to you. That I disagree. Great.
Yeah. The herd mentality ho jayega. Everybody will do the same thing.
But that is what floats in the air. It's just convenient to. अच्छा उसने बोल दिया हाँ मैं उसे जानता हूँ तो मैंने.
They disagreed, yeah. And that's what the show is also about. They disagree with each other at one point, and then they came together.
For a bigger purpose.
They come together.
Yeah.
Right? They come together. The penultimate scene of the show, when both of you all come together, right? The last scene of the show, when come to his house.
Oh, that's oof.
I love the way Nikkhil is talking about the show, because the drops are so beautiful, and I felt like नहीं यार ऐसे कुछ देखना चाहिए. बहुत सारा कंटेंट हम देखते रहते हैं, but this is something that you also need to watch, right? So
मैं तो समझता हूँ with our show people will start valuing more the democracy that we are living in and the freedom struggle जो हुई है.
I asked Raju Hirani. We were in Kenya. We had gone for some film. The film commission in Kenya took a couple of filmmakers, and Raju. We went to every location. We went for some safaris, and Raju never came out of his hotel. He was sitting in his hotel room and he was writing Lagero Munnabai. Okay. And so he basically got a free holiday and sitting in And I asked him, one evening we were sitting together and he said, I said, Raju, what is Lage Ro Munna Bhai about? And I was upset because Munna Bhai came 1 week after Kalona Ho. Nobody thought that Munna Bhai would be anything. It just basically, so Raju and I shared a lot of debut awards. And I asked him, what is Lage Ro Munna Bhai about? And he said, it's about Munna Bhai meeting Gandhi. Right?
Gandhigiri.
Gandhi.
And I
He said,
have been
Munna Bhai meeting Gandhi. And I looked at him and I said, yeah, Raju, yeah. Why do you make life so difficult? Who cares about Gandhi? He says, that's why I'm making it.
Wow.
Yeah, there was a time when people took pride in saying that I'm a Gandhian. Today it's
Wow.
changed, right?
And
He said, that is why. He said, if you are asking me this question,
That is why.
that is why.
and fortunately, I have been part of that film as well, sir.
Yes.
wow, yeah.
Wow.
That was a good time, both the films.
Yeah.
Kalona was
Right.
a crazy. I think I was in 10th, 12th, and we watched 40 times. We were going crazy.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the films you make, Nikhil. Thank you so much for Freedom at Midnight, and I'm really looking forward to watching it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.